YouTube.
But wait till she
YouTube, TikTok. And you want Instagram?
I would love it. On our Revelry, or I really want to be on TikTok, Mama, but
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay.
Well, this is not who they met.
What, at the top? You can tap on the little where you add, yeah.
And then are we using your?
Oh, it's because we don't have Wi-Fi, friend.
Here, I'll do it.
Yes. I was like, Brooklyn was my mom.
Something's happening. My white is showing.
Yes. Her best friend is she were able to
pound cake Easter.
Why did I think we were going to be under a table? I mean, have a table.
No?
Pound
I
cake.
didn't
Okay,
think this
password.
out.
What's wrong with it?
Password, capital H.
Do you want to sit here?
ULL.
No, that's your spot.
Capital U.
No.
Just
regular
lowercase.
Yes.
ULL.
Okay.
7737.
You got darker. You got tan. Is that from the boat yesterday?
I think so.
Right here.
Yeah.
It's a lot, yeah.
Trying to catch up with over here.
Oh shit.
This
This
is like all summer.
Girl, I could go all summer and I couldn't catch up with y'all. Please. Fucking white people problem.
Oh,
White friends, them
Speaking of what?
Sierra,
I look like
Okay,
a
now we
construction
can-
worker.
We don't
wanna
It's
talk to
dark
you
up
yet,
here and white down
Gianni.
here.
We don't want to talk to you yet until the camera. And like, I have a million things I want to say. I'm like,
Lorette is
Here you
probably
go.
at the bit.
Let me see if
I
I
saw
can.
Destiny yesterday. She came
She's
over.
She was all excited. She was Chase was there as well. So
Here we go.
FaceTiming them.
Gosh, this
Do
is-
you want to go live on here too?
Yes.
not on those.
Wait.
On those.
Oh, it's got a flat surface. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are.
Hey, friend, what, who?
This is Revelry.
Yes,
So back
perfect.
in the day.
Am I stressing you out?
Uh-uh.
I need a
To
downer.
work?
You need a
A
woman.
downer.
No, this is what we
To
need
work.
on the podcast.
Okay.
We need you to be
all
this.
that block.
We need you to be like that.
I could
You don't
see
never
it.
stress me out.
And mine,
What?
we're not
But I got some gum.
face to face because
I was gonna say.
yeah, Jackie was
She was
fly.
lucky.
Okay, this
And they'll
one-
let it be a weekend.
Okay, back
They'll let it
there.
be a weekend because Jackie was
Should we lift this up and then
Oh,
put
I
that back?
love that.
Shit.
I can do it. I can do it.
The lighting in here is great.
Our friend's gonna blow away if you keep losing weight.
Girl, listen, I still got this roof bed.
You lose that same friend, you losing it and I'm finding it.
That's
Here you
okay,
go.
friend.
I
It's
don't-
going in that
I don't think
ass.
I'm
is
working.
where it's going.
We gotta fix this.
I got a bad ass and I know how to tote it.
That was weak.
I don't know how to tag somebody. Although that, do you know how to do it?
Let me see.
got
if I
it.
can-
No, but I'm working now.
Topic maybe?
There, and then where it says
Let's see.
Hold with
I'll
that
play
hand.
with it on mine too.
Hold with the good hand.
Water on that one.
Hold
Learn.
with the other hand. Yeah.
We can also tag you
sure.
or pin your comment.
Right, you're talking about
I'm being
that.
lazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Siemens? Does you know, what does it say? I thought it said Siemens.
Do you want to tag her name in the title, or
Sure.
once we go live, we can pin her comment?
Well, I think it only pins for a little bit. It'll go away.
Oh, really? Can
But
you
you
tag
can't,
on this on the?
How are we live on YouTube?
But I've seen
Yes.
people
Can you
do
tell me how many
that.
followers? Or
13.
viewers? 13.
Better than 2.
Well, hello YouTube. Hello, beautiful
Hey,
people.
that is great.
Honey, y'all welcome
I don't know
in.
if there's a way to do that.
We're recording a podcast today.
You know what we could do also to like is we could maybe like split the screen.
Oh, y'all go together, or y'all come in the same?
Yeah,
That's a
like
good
maybe because you
idea.
get that angle and then
Yeah.
this could get my
Okay,
angle.
let's
You
do
know what I
that.
mean?
Where else?
You like that?
On that, on Revelry,
Let's look at
yes.
The only thing is that it might get a
That
little
was
bit of
hilarious,
like
the handwriting
feedback
class.
with the audio.
Yeah.
Although they
So
need
maybe
it,
if I like
because I think a lot of
I
kids
turn my
now
mic
are
off.
only doing
Yeah.
iPad,
Yep.
and
and
then
they're
that
not.
way they only
I showed
hear
her
what
that.
I'm saying.
Yeah, that's great.
Are we doing TikTok Mama on there? On there?
Yes, this is
That's
TikTok
okay.
one.
Okay, so go
You know, I was
live.
nosy.
And is it live now?
So we're live here.
Okay, and then let me just like
I
add
was going crazy trying to find a Bible because it's not the NSV.
Let me,
it has
like,
to
go
be
under
ESV 'cause
hers.
it's a Lutheran school.
Oh yeah.
And then I didn't.
and
Ryan
ask
goes,
to like
"Tracy, did
join,
you
I
read my
guess.
email?" The teacher said,
We
"Yeah,
can't
it
see
tells you
her.
on there."
We're gonna put hers
Like,
like somewhere here.
Okay.
She probably wants a
okay.
pretty pink one.
I think she does, but
Honestly,
we'll
put
just
your
get
phone
one
on
from
there.
and then
So
we'll
at the
go.
Lutheran school, do they go to mass?
Yes,
or
every
whatever?
Wednesday they go to chapel.
Not my bad.
I love
So
that.
do they get out of school early too on
Yes,
Wednesdays?
no, they have chapel in the morning, then they have
Request
the
to
regular
join as a
classes,
guest.
but,
And then
Wednesday,
I see.
first day of school,
Invite?
Yeah.
because every
There you
Wednesday they have
Okay.
a
And then I
chapel.
can put your phone right
It's
here.
all the families go to chapel, and we
Do
pray
that.
together.
Go live.
First great school year. So we
First
start the school off
drafties
with
down there.
with
I'm gonna put
certain
hers up
words.
here. I just don't know where else I should put hers.
So
I
I'm
love
excited.
that.
That'll be Revelry, right?
I said, baby, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna quiz you on these.
So
words.
we're-
God, I hope they're
You
not
know,
too
they're-
much.
she's gonna learn a lot. I'm telling you right
Too
now,
much.
she's gonna learn a lot.
They're live.
That's how my kids learn.
I'm dead.
They're live.
They
see in your hula.
private school, but I'm
Okay.
I love
So
that
that
they're
they can
doing
see
it.
all there.
Is
and then
it
they
close
can
to
see
yours?
me.
Girl, it's like 2 minutes downstairs.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, look
I
at
mean,
you.
I think you have worries.
My brain
Driving.
don't work like that.
That's not the
So
That's
same.
still,
good.
I didn't,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they automatically
I
have
forgot I bought
after
one.
school care and before school care. $3. It's a $3, $1.50 for every 30 minutes they're there.
Oh, dude, will they take Luke?
How do you pronounce your name, friend?
He's coming
No,
from
bring
Lisbon.
it. That's kind of
Who?
weird.
Gianni Avalos?
Gianni.
I could
Yeah,
also.
you said it perfect. No, how about we like?
Oh, down there.
You see what I'm saying?
Is it 12 or 11?
Yeah,
11.
It's
It's 11.
not that low, girl. Not that low.
Can they? I don't know if this can.
It'll do it. Just move the charger. I got it. So here it goes.
Do we know
It'll
what
go.
podcast number this is?
This is
12. Wow!
That's exciting. Oh,
We're at the very beginning. I'm
Wait,
so
does it
glad
lock?
you were able to make it.
I don't think so.
We
It's like
took
a
what,
pretty
a whole
cheap
month
one.
off? July?
Yes.
Get this over.
Yeah,
Jenny, which
July.
part of town do you live on?
I live in River Oaks.
Oh, no.
Oh, girl.
How was the drive over here?
It's not like that though. I live in an
You're like,
apartment. So it's not like that. I'm still a single mom.
I heard that.
Okay, here we go. I think
Thank you, friend.
this is cool.
Issa, you know how to put that back down?
Yes.
Okay.
We haven't done
The
mic
right
checks,
reason
right?
why I'm asking, because
I'm
I
going
don't.
to.
Oh.
Look, she said I do.
You don't have to put it down? I think it's
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Happy me.
Oh, that's why I never use it.
Bless.
Let's take a
I don't
selfie
use
and then
it.
I'll post it on my IG story.
Okay.
And then I'll like copy the link and then I'll
I'm nursing a hangover, but
You're fine.
Already?
oh, are we doing pictures?
Oh, that's cute.
Are
Look
we
at
doing
these
a
colors.
picture, friend? Because I'm not in it.
You right there, friend. And the
Yeah, there you
top
go.
on it.
Come closer. There you go. Oh, that's
That's a
great.
cute
I love it. We
The colors go together.
And we do.
and then I'm gonna
Together,
like
like-
link the
Oh, look at the split screen.
How is that?
How
No,
you
Yeah.
listen, y'all
Yeah.
are behind. I'm looking.
We got young stuff.
Y'all,
No males.
My gosh.
Look.
Oh, look at the screen. Oh, I need my
Oh, my
glasses.
And you know
Gianni,
what,
what's
there.
your live
Or put it
pause?
behind the iPad.
What's
I
your
need my
live
glasses.
pause?
Girl, I
Oh,
thought
because
that
I'm
was-
like
Oh, Mama.
It is a split screen.
I'm
What's
adding
that?
the link so people
No,
can
it's
go
just a
from my
string.
Instagram.
Smart.
I thought it was too.
Are you recording that? That's hilarious.
No, it's live.
Okay, I'm
So
gonna get
somebody
y'all
else-
have Instagram, so you can tag y'all on mine, so that way they can
No.
y'all can repost on your Instagram story if you want.
Okay, can we do a quick mic
I
check?
love your
See
shirt.
what?
Mic check.
Thank you,
1
I just
2 1
Bueno,
2.
bueno,
Perfect.
Those are
Okay, let
cute.
me
bueno,
get your sound a little bit.
She
Okay.
said bueno.
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 Are you
Bueno.
fluent in Espanol?
Yo.
Muy fluent.
Mom?
Yes, I
Muy
am.
Hola.
fluent.
We fluent.
Very fluent. I love it.
I am.
Why are we dark right here?
She's paused.
Oh, okay.
Just y'all are tagging.
Oh, I don't know why
Y'all
it's
got
not
that
letting me.
natural lighting. No?
Thank you.
Someone told me the other day that
That's weird. Did you
I
get
wasn't able. I need to do something. I'm sorry. I need to do something. I need to find out why it's doing that. People
Yeah, I've
contact
seen
me.
it on your settings.
Yeah.
You can't get 10?
Oh, it's in your settings
Yeah,
for
I
sure now.
know. Yeah, I have to check. I was in there
Well, I'm
a
banned
couple months
right
ago.
now for making a comment
Oh my goodness.
till the 15th.
I'm dead.
What'd you count?
I don't know. My IG. My
The
personal.
tie-dyes or snap?
Tie-dye.
Damn.
I don't know what. I think I commented on
Not tie-dye.
Centerpoint.
Oh, well.
Can't talk bad about
you
Centerpoint now.
Yeah.
Somebody reported me. Because
Somebody called him center pointless.
I know.
Yeah, I did see
Oh
that.
my god, that's hilarious.
I said, I don't
That
even know
is
what I did.
funny.
I kept asking them to please rethink this.
I didn't mean to do it, I'll be good.
And then she
They're
reversed.
trying to teach us
I
a lesson.
did. But I don't even know what I did.
Bless it.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
It sucks, friend. It happens to me all the time.
Oh, it was my first time going to IG gym.
I've never been in trouble for a comment. I always get my own self in trouble.
I think it's now meta because I got in trouble. Remember, I got in trouble on Facebook by saying, "Oh, that's a stupid thing," and then it was called bullying or something. So they
Oh
Yeah.
my
stopped me from
gosh,
commenting.
can we just
But I didn't
live
call
our
someone
lives?
stupid. I just said that's a stupid thing. But they don't even look at that.
Yeah, it classifies under that maybe.
Oh, okay.
So,
We
So,
can't
so
even.
now you can't comment or you can't get into your IG.
I can't comment.
Can't
I can get
comment.
in. I can like your stuff, but I can't comment at all. I
You
can't
gotta
even
watch that
say.
too because I got permanently banned from commenting on Facebook.
So you gotta make a
That's
whole
crazy.
different
They,
account?
like I have to wait months
Oh,
before I can
no.
comment again.
I'm not saying nothing no more.
Guys, that's why we should always say something nice. And
Oh,
say something
fuck
bad. We
that.
should say something bad behind closed doors.
Comment and post. I can't do any of that on Facebook. I can only like stuff.
Oh no.
Fun times.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's okay.
Okay,
There's always
Ready?
TikTok.
we are ready.
But see, I don't
Okay.
want to make a new one because I've had it since
No,
2012.
no.
This is cool.
Everybody's mic check worked out.
Yep.
Check it out.
Come on, sit close.
Yes.
My BC power's starting to kick in now.
So,
That stuff
It's
works
just
great.
like all right here.
So this mic is on you the whole time, and then this one's gonna move around from them to you, and then this one's just on you four.
Okay.
okay.
Wait, where's
And you
mine?
don't want to
Straight
use it,
ahead.
you just-
This one
Yeah.
is on you,
Mhm.
I'll do this for you. You just say Teresa.
and then this
Teresa,
one's gonna be on you.
Jackie,
and,
I
like,
want
but
to
when you
vote.
talk, you
Okay,
talk.
I'll
this
hold it just like that.
Okay, let me start everything.
They can't see.
They can't see who, Fran.
Teresa.
Oh.
That's
And
okay.
it's half me.
Most of the time they can't
Except-
see me.
Oh,
So it's
that's
okay.
true.
Oh, Jackie.
That's
Jackie's happy. She's like, as long as I'm on here, I'm good.
That color
Jackie
though,
said,
is
I made the
gorgeous.
cut.
I made the cut this time. Normally I'm the one sitting on the other side.
Do you? Because if you moved it just a little bit, you would get her.
Yeah.
Production. You want me to?
Sure.
And then
Sure.
this one, this
So that
one's
way,
down
like,
here too.
because
Thank
this
you
one
so
like
much.
doesn't need to be, yeah. So like that, and then.
There.
Look at you.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Well, no.
No.
Now, now
No.
Trisha's not in there.
No, yeah, you're right. Okay. I
Oh,
mean,
right there like that. Yeah, that's perfect.
that's good there, but you're so cut out, mommy.
It's a.
You could
Come
be
on,
right
a little
here and get in
closer.
mine.
You're all comfy. There you go.
You could be here and get in hers.
Look. Teresa's here.
I know.
That's hilarious. She actually could sit right here and
Teresa.
then be in that camera.
Right.
Oh.
So many angles.
If we, Teresa, wake up. You're on camera.
I was like, what?
Do you want to do that?
What?
Or you already have everything set
Yeah,
up?
she has everything
Yeah.
set up. I don't want to ruin her
Yeah.
setup.
Yeah.
And we're going to turn this off in a little bit, aren't we? The
The
TikTok and all
live.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or
So it's
no?
not like the full podcast.
Or what do you want to do?
We have been without for a long time. I think it's best to.
Okay.
Keep it on.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do this.
Issa, remember the one in the back is
They
on.
can
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Whatever this
Oh,
is, they
God.
can see you.
Yep.
What is this?
That's the
YouTube?
Revelry. That's
Can
TikTok.
we put that? Can we put that string behind that iPad? Yeah. Yeah, that's setting me off.
Ooh.
Perfection.
I didn't know it was real.
Alrighty.
Sick
Oh,
boy.
look what Preston did. He threw my ray down. He must have done.
Time out.
Gianni, you look great. Your
Oh,
hair
you got
looks
this.
great. The green color, green is money.
I feel like you're
I see
calling her
perfection.
Johnny.
Gianni.
Yeah, I need to hear all the pronunciations.
said
Well, I'm
Gianni.
sorry. I'm Latina. My first language
Johnny.
is
People
English.
call me Gianni, Gianna, Gigi.
What do you like to be called?
What do you like to be called?
My really close friends call me G.
G.
Call me G.
And what?
We can call her G. I love it. We got it, y'all. We
We're her close friends.
All right. So just make sure everybody talk really close to the mic,
Okay.
Okay.
Check, check, check.
Gotcha.
and then
Check. Okay.
ready whenever you are.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. That camera's mine.
Yes.
Okay.
That one's all of us,
Can
and
you?
then this one's gonna move, right? Okay.
And that one's hers. Right here. Right. Sorry. Do you want me to move something?
No. I think we're good. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
She loves it.
I do. Wait. Did it work right? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, almost smashed the finger.
I know.
Welcome to Revelry Podcast. I'm your host, TikTok Mama. Today we have a guest with us. Her name is Gianni Avalos. Oh, shit.
Sorry. Wait. We need to talk. We need to look at this.
Shit.
You're looking at the
Where are you looking?
iPad.
I am.
She's looking at the iPad.
There's a lot going on here.
It's
There's a lot. I
we
like
never
it,
get
though.
it on the first take anyway.
okay.
Never.
What matters are the three mountains right here. 1, 2, 3, right here. Those cameras. That's what
Okay.
matters.
Look at that one.
She said that.
Whenever ready.
Okay, today we have with us Gianni Avalos. She is also known, maybe better known, as Single Mom Attorney. So welcome, friend. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
So tell us, I want to hear your story. Like, tell us where you're from. Do you have kids? Are you married?
Yeah.
What do you do? We want the, we want the whole
Or
thing.
The whole
one.
kit.
Yes, yes.
They want it all.
Yes, we do.
How personal should we get?
Don't.
This is the podcast. This
Very
is the
personal.
podcast to get personal.
Okay. I love it. I love these people. Okay. So I go by Single Mom Attorney online. I do divorce and family law in Houston and Dallas, but my firm also takes cases in San Antonio and Austin. And I am officially the #1 most followed divorce attorney in all of Texas.
That's amazing.
Latina power. I love
I
it.
love
And
it.
so young.
Yes.
20. Oh, sorry,
I just turned 29.
Happy belated
Wow.
birthday.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Okay, let me tell you, Trisha did ask you to tell us everything about you, but we're gonna interrupt every
It's
2
okay.
minutes. Okay. Because you know.
Me and Lorette are the worst about it.
Yes.
So
That's why we were given just one microphone.
we have to fight for it.
And they're fighting.
That's hilarious.
They're like,
No, give it to me, give it to me.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I
So,
know.
29. Go.
So I'm 29, but I'm from a small town outside of like Fort Worth, Texas. It's called Granbury.
I've heard of that.
Granbury.
You heard of Granbury?
I've heard
I
of it,
get
yes.
so excited when people know where Granbury is. Because I'm like, no, it's not Grand Prairie. It's not great. It's Granbury. Okay. So that's my hometown, born and raised. And I just grew up in that little town. My dad owned a Mexican restaurant, still does. My mom does hair. Put me through
That's
law
why you have
school.
gorgeous hair.
Plug it. What's the name of the restaurant? Plug it.
Oh gosh, La Fiesta in Granbury.
Nice.
Nice. Go there.
For sure. I think that was actually like the second Mexican restaurant in town. So it's been open like 30 plus years.
That's
now.
amazing.
It's crazy, yeah. So I just like come from this family of like entrepreneurs. And so when I went to law school, I had the mindset of like, I'm going to run my own law firm one day. Like that was definitely the mentality. But before law school, I was working as a family law paralegal. And so then like after law school, it was not in my mind to get back into family law. But I went viral on TikTok whenever I passed the bar exam. Like the whole thing was just like this video montage of me studying for the bar exam with my newborn, and that like got over 1 million views. I started getting like emails from Telemundo or Univision and like Daily Mail, and so then I went on the news for it. Like people were just so inspired by this story. And so I really didn't know what to do with like that momentum and that traction or anything like that. I gained my first maybe like 8,000 followers with it, and then I started realizing like I think this is where God wants me to move like and go, and the direction he wants me to take my law school and career in. And so I just opened up a little family law firm, and it was all virtual from the beginning. So like I was like living at my parents' house still, and I just did everything from like my closet, literally. Like I had my little printer and desk set up in there. And then my followers were like, oh, will you take my case in Houston? Will you take my case in Dallas? And then whatnot. And so I always maintained like those 2 practice areas, and then the firm just grew, and we're now a firm of like 10 people. So
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's great.
I have a question. So take us back a little bit, like your childhood, because I always am so fascinated at how it started. So when did you realize you were the smartest girl in your
I'm
class?
dead. I don't even, it's like, I don't think you have to be a smart person to be a lawyer. Like, I think you just have to be
Passionate.
very hardworking, right? Like, it's like, you might have like the years experience on me, you might know a little bit more, but you will never outwork me. And I got that work ethic from my parents. And me and my sister, we grew up very different because at the age of 10, I started going to work with my dad.
Nice.
And so like, I would like bust tables, and I had my little shifts on the weekend there. And I was just like so fascinated by like my dad's work life, I guess, and so he was very hard on me, just like any Mexican dad would be, but I learned a lot, and I think that it made me a very like thick-skinned person, which I think that you definitely need, especially being on social media and like having the amount of followers, right? Like, there's just so many people that they start doing this and then they don't proceed with it because they're like, it's just too much. And
Right.
so, but yeah, no, now it's like, I just, I'm like, I've heard it all from my dad at this point. Like, he's so hard on me. Like, what are you going to tell me in the comments? Like, I don't know.
So how old were you when you realized you want to be a lawyer?
It's interesting because my grandpa kind of like, I don't know if he like manifested it or something, but like whenever I was I must have been like 7 or 8, and like I would go to my grandpa's house, and he'd be like, "You're gonna be a lawyer one day. Like he would like say this thing. He'd be like, "You're gonna open a book one day and be like, this is what the law says." And I was like, "I don't even know what a lawyer is, Grandpa, but whatever." And so then like in high school, I kind of started hearing more about it. And like in my town, there was no lawyers that looked like me. Like I was the first Spanish speaking, like maybe not first, but I was the only Spanish speaking whenever I opened my practice there. And so, nobody looked like me. And then it was my last year of undergrad. I ended up going to every law firm in town because I was like, let me go and like see what this law firm life is all about. Like nobody in my family's doing it, but like it just keeps coming back to me in like my mind. And I was like majoring in business or something. So I was kind of like, do I go for like an MBA? Do I go for law school? I don't know. So I printed out my resume, I printed out my cover letter, and I just like literally went to every law firm in town, shook their hand, and I was like, I'll work for free. Like I just want to be like, a fly on the wall, like get exposed to this industry, right? And then there was this one attorney that he did call me back, and he was like, hey, like I could use somebody to answer the phones, like, 3 times a week. And they loved that I was Spanish speaking because like there was no Spanish speaking attorneys in town. So like having somebody that could even answer the phones in Spanish at a law firm was like unheard of in my town. And
so do you think, let me ask you, because this is interesting. So you went to a lot, I'm sure you went to 20 or 30 law firms.
Minimum,
this one
yeah.
guy that called you back, do you think he believed in you just as someone that answers the phone because you were a woman and a minority?
Oh my gosh. I think that he just needed somebody to answer the phones, to be honest. But it was so crazy. That experience at that firm was wild because there was a paralegal there and she was so hard on me. And whenever I left, like, it was almost like, I could tell like she was kind of happy I was leaving. And it was crazy. Like, she was like, oh, this isn't for everybody, like, and whatever. And every day I would be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I need guidance. I need help, teach me, and I will be more helpful than like just answering a phone, right?
Well, she saw you as a threat.
Yeah.
She saw you as a threat.
But I'm like, you know what? God always has the last laugh in my book, because the next time that I saw her in life, like I was at a paralegal conference and she was there. And then the next time after that, she was like in my mom's chair, like at the hair salon. She didn't know she was my mom. And at that point, I was already an attorney, and I went to go like take my mom some lunch or something.
Stop.
And I was
love
like,
it.
what are you doing? And so like, it was crazy. I'm like, but it's like.
You're like, I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
By the way.
It definitely felt good, but I mean, I'm just like, yeah, like I made it even after you told me that it wasn't for me, so.
Good for you.
But yeah, I was, so I remember like telling myself whenever I start hiring employees, like I'm going to provide them a path to success, like, because she would always tell me like, this is common sense, nothing that you're doing in this office is common sense to a first generation
No way.
like not attorney, like nothing. I don't speak the language, I don't speak legal jargon, so that was that experience.
So when you were doing the answering the phone, was the lawyer actually giving you work? Because I know some things like that they think maybe a paralegal can handle for them, like filing the cases and things like that. Were they allowing you to get even that experience?
So she was like giving me assignments with kind of like no instruction, but the attorney himself was mainly like just hang out with me in the office, go get my lunch and answer my phones and run my errands and pick up my dry cleaning and kind of thing, and so, which I was fine with, just to be like exposed in a law firm, and so. But that was also like kind of a very tricky part of my life because I was going through my first, like my only divorce, but I was very young. So I was like 19. It was like one of those like puppy love, like romances. And we met in college, broke up, moved back to my parents in my small little town. And so at that point I'm just like, look, like I'm just happy to be like in a law firm.
Right.
But I'm still going through this divorce myself, which I didn't really know anything about or how to do that. And so then after that, I was just like, I didn't have the mental to be like somewhere where they weren't setting me up for success. And so I ended up moving to Dallas, worked at a bank, hated it, because I just like, I'm not good at jobs that like, I could do it in my sleep. Like, this is just like inputting buttons and there's a system to everything. Like, no, like I need to work my brain at a job, right? And so I got really bored working at a bank. And so I ended up just saying, like, I'm going to go work at another law firm, did that in Dallas, moved to Miami, lived there for a little bit.
How long were you in Miami?
For a year. I did my first year of law school over there. But I'm a Texas girl at heart. So, like, when I was over there, I was like, I need to get back to Texas.
Yeah.
And so I transferred back, and I ended up in Houston, South Texas law. And then that's how I developed my roots in Houston, I guess. Yeah.
So what made you have the name of, being the single mom attorney?
That's really interesting because I remember whenever I was posting on TikTok, there was nothing like what I do now where I'm like, hey, like, you know, let me provide you with some educational content for like child stuff. I was not doing that. Like I was very much like day in the life of a single mom / attorney is what I was saying.
Okay.
And so I would just post my like daily struggle of like living in my parents' house and like as a little single mom running a little law firm, you know, and her closet. Like it was very humbling, and it is very humbling to go back and look at those day in the lives. But sometimes I kind of want to give more to people, but I'm always in this like limbo of like people want to see me as this like strong,
Of
very
course,
like, you know, empowered, like attorney, like nothing breaks her kind of thing. But then on the other hand, I'm like a single mom too. Like I've got real life struggles. I'm a real person, you know what I mean? And so I think that that's why my followers like my page, because I tell them like, if you're going to go and hire the attorney out there that you don't, you know, you think is like more professional because they're not on TikTok or anything, like those are the people that still have real life problems. The only difference between me and that attorney is that I'm sharing them with you. I'm being vulnerable with you.
Great point.
And I'm telling you, like, I can relate to you when you tell me that your baby daddy is giving you these problems. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, naturally, like, I started developing a single mom following once I started doing these day in the lives. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to, like, start this law firm. And I'm only going to market to women. And so a lot of people were like, oh, no, don't do that. You're going to miss out on, like, a whole bag from, like, dads and everything, right?
Yeah.
But I read this book before, and it was like teaching me about niche marketing. And so I was like, you know what, like I can still market to women and I can still service both. Like we have a lot of dad clients still, you know,
Right.
And it just became a very big, a very strong like business move, I think, because I always wondered like, why is there no like Jim Adler for family law? You know what I mean? Like why is there like you always hear about these like crazy PI attorneys on like billboards like Texas Hammer, and like I'm like that's the way marketing is for like that practice area. Like family law is still very traditional, and I'm like, but it worked. Like I can go online and be like, I'm single mom attorney and I sue baby daddies for a living, and it's gonna get so many views and so many consultations, and it's gonna run this whole operation of a firm. Like so when people tell me like don't do it, it's not gonna work, but I'm like it is working though.
Yeah,
it's
like,
amazing
it is
too.
working.
Because if I had you 13 years ago, I would have did it.
Yes.
It was hard. I think I would have responded to someone more like you rather than this guy at this law firm that I hired and had to put my retainer down. He's just like so. You come up really authentic because you are an authentic person, and you've been in struggle. So I feel like I would have gotten more of bang out of my butt if I had you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because
it's honestly like whenever I do these consultations with these women, they'll be like, "Wow, like you're the first one you're the first person that's made me feel heard in like this
That's
situation."
so important.
And I'm like, like I want you to feel heard. I want you to feel seen. And like I'm not here to reinvent the wheel and like create new walls and things. I mean, new laws, but I mean at the same time,
why not?
yeah,
You could.
I could.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, here are the laws that we have to work with. At the end of the day, like what I will promise you is like strong advocacy, because at the end, like a lawyer is basically, you know, okay, what do you want? It's my job to go and tell a judge, here's what she wants, but here's why she wants it.
Right.
If you have an attorney that doesn't understand why you're asking for what you're asking for, then that's not going to create a strong argument, in my opinion. And so, yeah, they feel very related to.
I love it.
That's good.
Tell me this: do you struggle with being a mom and putting all those hours in at the office? And how do you, it's just you and your son, right?
Yeah.
Is your sister here?
My sister lives here now, and so I begged her for months to like move in with me and help, because when I moved to Houston, I knew
I'll move in with you.
Yeah.
I want to live there.
She left her like job of 7 years to you know, she was this corporate like HR, you know, baddie.
Was
like,
she in Granbury?
No, she was in Port Arthur.
Okay.
And so she was in the Houston area still, but I was like, like, this is a big operation. Like, I need dependable childcare. And so she ended up moving in with me because I had, like, within the first month of moving to Houston, I think I had, like, 4 failed nanny experiences. And that's where I really felt, because before I was, like, living with my mom, you know? And so she was, like, very much, oh, you got to go do something for this law firm? Like, sure, I will drop all my clients and, like, you go do that. So, like, now my mom gets, like, one big travel trip once a year from me. Like, she goes to, so, like, next week she's going to Europe and, like,
I do want
that's
to
the
move in
best
with you.
part ever. I'm just like, my parents gave me a lot. Like, it's like, I told them, I was like, this is just me giving it back to
Give it
them.
back.
You know, it's not, yeah.
And it's funny that you say that because one of a lady that I know, she reached out when she saw her post about you.
Uh-huh.
She lives in Arizona and she follows you.
Yeah.
And one of the things that she kept on saying to me is that your story is so inspiring because your family
Yeah.
was so supportive in who you are today.
It's so sweet, yeah.
Could you can confirm that? Obviously, your parents
For sure.
did a lot. That's
I think
awesome.
that like whenever I post content about my parents, that's where like the following really feels like this is like she is me. Like I get her. You know what I mean? And I get that comment so often. There was a video that I posted recently of my dad because he was like, my dad my whole life has only driven 2 trucks. Okay, like 2 trucks, and I'm almost 30. And he always told me, like, when you graduate law school, I'll go and buy myself a new truck. Like, in the meantime, like, all this money goes to, you know. And so I graduated law school. Like, he still didn't buy his truck. I bought my dream car, G-Wagon. And I was like, I can't be driving around in a G-Wagon with my dad and his janky old, like, Sierra that keeps breaking down on him on the side of the road. So I, like, went and I took him to the dealership. You know how Mexican dads are so stubborn? I literally...
For sure.
Oh my gosh, did I turn this off? I was like, Mexican dads are so stubborn. I told him, hey, I want to go see a truck for myself. Will you come with me?
I love that you did it.
Yeah. And he was like, a truck? Like, you just bought a... He was like, but I guess. And so he's over there, like, looking at, like, the little used, like, whatever. He's like, I just want something with, like, a truck bed.
He's looking out for you.
He's like, I'll do the roll down windows. It doesn't have to be electric.
Exactly. So then I like go inside and I tell the salesman, like, listen, like, this is what we're really here for. So like, what do you have within this price range, this guy? And they pulled out like a black Sierra. My dad's only ever driven like Sierra trucks. Like, and so I was like, this is his truck. Like, I have to get him this truck. And so he was like, no, like, how are you going to buy? I was like, Dad, this is for you. Like, fine. And he just like started crying. He was like, I know.
What
And
a
he was like,
beautiful
okay.
moment.
And finally, like, I convinced him, like, I'm going to buy you a truck here. We're not leaving without one. And he was like, okay, well, if you're going to do it, like, let's go look at the other ones. Like, still not wanting.
My God.
And I was like, Dad, I was like, you know, and so now he, like, drives around and he texts me every day. But I was like, Dad, just, you don't have to text me every day about your truck. Like, just enjoy it.
It's good. I just changed the oil.
Yeah. I know, and it's so funny because my dad, like, in his old trucks, they've always been, like, so dirty. Like, he always has, like, papers inside.
Girl,
Like,
he's
he
working.
doesn't care about them. And this truck, like, every time I go home, he's, like, hand-washed it. Like, he has no
it's
papers in the back.
meaningful.
Yeah, he told me that. He was like, this is, like, my most prized, like, possession. Like, it's so sweet. So anyways, I tell that to my followers, like, give back, because me personally, like, I would not be here with this operation of a law firm with these followers without my parents. Absolutely not. Like, whenever because, you know, I entered motherhood as a single mom. And so whenever I ended up moving back in with my parents, my dad, obviously, like any dad would ask questions like, well, what about the dad, right? Like, where is he? What is his?
We want to know, did you sue your baby daddy?
Did I sue my baby daddy? I have not sued my baby daddy because I'm like, there's nothing to sue for.
Oh! That is a t-shirt. That is a
I
t-shirt.
know. Sue your baby daddy.
You're not worth it.
I know. I'm actually.
I got me.
I'm one of the few attorneys, I feel like, that has this opinion that not everybody needs to take their baby daddy to court. And it's like,
I agree with that.
you know, because
What about their baby mama?
their baby mamas, I know, right? I feel like if you have a decent co-parenting dynamic, you don't have to get a court order like involved. And for me, I'm like, okay, well, why am I going to go to court and put it all in writing, like these, you know, what the things that he can do and when he can take and whatever, when right now, like, we have a decent enough relationship where I'm like, if you want to come see your son, like, the door's open, like, come.
Right.
Absolutely. I never stop him from seeing his son. If he FaceTimes him, I always call him back if I miss it. Like, that's just our relationship that we have.
So important.
It's so important.
Yeah, it really is.
That is actually putting the child first.
For sure.
Because that's not easy to do if you don't have a good relationship with the
But
other.
it takes time though.
Well, and so, like, that's what I tell my clients, because I'm like, I'm not telling you anything that I haven't already put into practice myself. So, like, and they hear it different, you know, like, they really do. It's like another attorney could tell them, hey, you gotta, like, work on that co-parenting, and they're not gonna hear it the same as, like, trust me, every single day I wish I could block him. You cannot block him, like, you know, and so I'm telling them what I'm putting into practice myself, and so, but, no, at the end of the day, like, he's there, but he's not.
He's present, but he's not.
But he's not, yeah. So I definitely feel like I carry the weight even more now, like, in living outside of my parents' house, right? as a single mom, but I still have my support system, like my sister, she's there for me and everything, and so that's definitely very helpful. And I always say, like, God is not gonna leave me.
Absolutely.
Like,
Right.
he's
That's
not,
right.
You know,
It's
so.
the faith, yes.
Yeah, and it's like really inspiring whenever I get like DMs from my like followers that they'll be like, hey, like I've been following you for this amount of time, and because of you, like I went back to school. Like I'll get like
Amazing to have that kind of
letters from
impact.
women.
I love that.
Yes,
You're
it's
inspiring
insane.
people. That's great.
I went to this gala recently, and like somebody was like winning an award, like for like a law school or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes up to me after, she's like, I cannot believe you're here. And I was like, what? And she was like, you're the reason I went to law school.
Oh my
And
gosh, I love
I
that.
was like, what? Like, I'm just.
Not only are you changing your life, but you're changing others
And their
around.
children's lives. Like,
Yeah,
think about like
absolutely.
the opportunities that these children are going to grow in. And, you know, so I was recently on another podcast and I told like, they were asking like, what do you want single moms to know? And I'm like, hey, like child support is important, but it's not everything. Like you are not going to build an empire with child support. Like, I mean, use it, like take advantage of it. Like if you have that opportunity, right?
Right.
But like go and be something bigger than your circumstance. Like go to school,
That's
do
great.
a business. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and
Great
so
advice.
that is what I preach to my following because it motivates them. They're like, if she can do it, like so can I, you know?
Have you ever turned away a client where you're like, you know, I
Yes.
just don't see
Yes.
how
I
that'll
have.
work, or I don't believe in that?
Yeah.
Tell
I
us
have.
about that without.
No, yeah, and they've been mom clients too. And because sometimes like they really are just kind of seeing a lawsuit as like this vindictive opportunity to just abuse the court system, in my opinion, for something that it's not really worth doing. And they're like, it's the principle. And I'm like, okay, it is the principle, but I'm also like,
And I have my own principles.
when
and morals.
I ask them like
Yeah.
questions about like the co-parenting dynamic and the dad, like I'm like I always tell them the best thing that you can have for a child is to have both parents involved.
True.
Period. Like if you I'm like, so they're like sometimes asking me, well, how do we limit his possession? How do we do this? And I'm like, but like I see how that's necessary in some
Right.
cases, a lot of cases actually. But in some cases, and still a lot of cases, like he's a present dad, so why are we trying to do that? Like why are we trying to take him away from his, you know? So I think that that's a very common like misconception about my brand, that they see like single mom attorney sue your baby daddy, and they don't realize like
It's not about vengeance.
it's not about right. And you know, this is true advocacy. Like at the end of the day, we're still very like we're lawyers, we're professionals, and so we're not going to go to court and abuse the system for
Right.
something that's not worth abusing, you know?
Right.
It's not, that's, you know, so.
And do you see it mainly from women who are hurt or pissed off that they are dating, the men are dating someone else, or they're getting married to somebody else?
I do see that, and it's not necessarily that they're dating somebody else. Sometimes it's just that they're spending more money on that person now. So they kind of see it as like, I used to be with him, he used to take care of the family, now he's gone, and I get this $1,000 check a month, but he's out there buying vacations and doing all these
Right.
things with his new family. And I get that that's really hurtful, but
Of
that's why
course.
I tell moms, like, child support is set at like, there's a percentage, there's a certain calculation.
What is the percentage?
It's still 25%.
Its average is 20%, like normal. Like,
Do you think
for
it
the
should
first
go up?
child,
Do you think
right?
it should be higher?
I wish it was higher, but at the same time, like, it just depends on how many children they have, like, with
Yeah.
that person, you know? I don't know if it should be higher, but I wish that we were like other states that kind of calculated how much it actually takes to raise that child and look at the resources. Because for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this dad over here is like a 1099. Like, I know he makes good money, you know, but there's nothing on paper like you know what I mean? It
He
must
can
be
hide
like,
it.
he can easily hide it.
Oh, so other states are just, they have a fixed amount.
Some states do that,
Okay,
yeah. Or they'll
okay.
be like, you know, this is, I mean, mom can make a financial information sheet and be like, this is how much childcare is. Like, have y'all seen how much childcare is these days?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's outrageous.
I was lucky. I
It,
got
it's
It
larger
is.
than a car payment.
I'm
Like,
like,
it's-
$60,000 behind.
It's insane. I'm like, for you to just even have 3 days out of the week and put your kid in a daycare, like,
Part-time,
that's gonna
right.
run you half your check. Like, for moms that
Yeah.
are waiting tables or something, like, you know, and so
Yeah.
I really look at those
But
situations.
don't get me started with how much money they pay those workers to take care of your
that
kids.
too.
Depending on how much, compared to how much they're charging.
Right, no, for sure.
Oh,
And
don't
that's
get me started on that.
no, it all goes back to like, okay, well, this is how much we're charging you because this is how much we have to pay people for qualified supervision of your
Qualified, what a key
children.
word.
Yeah.
Qualified,
Yeah, qualified.
right? To not attract bad people to watch your
Right.
kids. You know what I mean? And so it's a really messed up system. And honestly, like when you really stop and think about it, I kind of think about it like if you're a single mom, the system is not going to set you up for success. Like on top of paying for childcare by yourself half the time, you know, and now you're going to have to pay all these like thousands of dollars in attorney fees. Like I made this video the other day because I was like, I'm an attorney, but at the end of the day, like I see like single moms every day, like just getting like screwed over because yeah, sure, I can go to court and I can get you sole custody and I can do all the things, right? Like assuming you have a case for it. But how much is that going to run you at the end of the day? It's like, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, that money sometimes could have literally gone towards like a down payment of a house.
Right.
But now you've got a mom.
College.
Yeah, and I'm like, now you've got a mom that has to rent and stay in like a certain tax bracket. You see what I feel like being a single mom in America, like they have designed the system for you to stay within a specific tax bracket, you know? And that's where I just tell my followers, like, you have to be bigger than this. You have to think bigger because this system is not designed for you to win at all. Like, for me, I was like, you know, I grew up like waiting tables and I was like not making a lot of money whenever I was a single mom. I literally, like when I tell people I could not financially afford to fail the bar exam, like I was maxed out on my credit cards. There was no failing. Like I didn't have that choice, right? So I was like, for me, I was like, I'm going to be bigger than this. Like I studied for hours. Like even after that, I was like, I'm not going to go and work at a firm, just still be living at my parents' house. Like I started my own law firm. Like that took like countless like sleepless nights, you know what I mean? And I'm still pulling those all-nighters just to build what I'm building. But
Right.
Well, you set those goals for yourself and you reach them.
yeah,
I think that's key to know that it's attainable.
It's
You know, I
attainable.
think somebody may be looking at you as saying, well, she had the support of her parents and she was smart and she, you know, she knew how to maneuver herself. But it's important to know that it's possible for anybody.
right, it really is. And I tell people like time is gonna pass anyways. Like maybe you're not gonna get there as fast as I did because you're right. Like it does take a village. I had a village. Not everybody has a village. You
Right.
know?
But you also worked your ass off.
Right.
But I worked my ass off and I knew like, okay, at the end of the day, time is gonna pass.
True.
Would I rather be like building my own law firm, building my own brand, you know, a year, 2, 3 years down the line, like it's something versus, or would I just rather be like working at another firm? And I got discriminated against whenever I was applying for at like different firms because I did try that. Like I tried to go and apply for different family law firms.
Excuse me.
And I'll never forget that so I put my former employer down as a reference and this one potential employer like called my former employers like, hey, we want to know about her kind of thing. Maybe they had seen my TikTok, I don't know. But they were like, well, because, you know, my former employer gave like a glowing recommendation. She gave a glowing recommendation. And so then I was like, okay, well, great. But then the paralegal at that job emailed me. No, she.
Oh, okay,
no,
good.
this is a different paralegal.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute.
She
Not her
I
still.
know. She messaged me and she was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like somebody called up here and said that they don't think that you're gonna be as hard of a worker now because you're a single mom. And I was like, what? Like, if anything, I think it pushes me more. Like I can't afford to just go into a job and half-ass it. Like I have to be better.
Like this
than,
is
you
what
know,
I
any
this is
other-
what I need to do.
This is what feeds my son.
They
you
want to
know?
know about your personal life, but then
Yeah.
punish you for it.
Right, exactly. So that gave me like a very bad taste in my mouth whenever I was applying for different firms. So I was like, you know what, like I was like, I'm already living at my parents' house. Like I like looked at my finances and I was like, all I need to do is make this much money a month. And when I look back at that number and what that number was, I'm like, God is so big.
Amen.
God is so big. I was
Isn't he?
like, we make that in less than a day now.
Wow.
That is freaking
Less than a
amazing.
day.
Yes, I have
Like,
goosebumps all over.
I'm like, I can make that in like a morning. Like it's insane. And back then that was just my goal. Like that would pay my car, that would pay my insurance, my phone, the diapers and formula. Like cause WIC, I was on WIC, so it only covered like so many cans a month. You
Right.
know?
I love that you just said that
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of women or people that are on WIC or getting support from the government are ashamed of that.
They are.
And
yeah.
here you are like, look, I use that resource
Yes.
because I need it. And it's there because
I
It
wish
is
I could.
there.
If I could have got on Wix,
No, for sure. I was definitely on WIC. Like, and I even applied for food stamps. I didn't qualify for them, but I was like reaching for any resource that I could. I was like, I know that this is not
that's
going
what
to
it's
be,
for.
and it's not going to be my long-term reality.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's a temporary.
It's temporary. Yeah. I was like, I'd rather put that money that I could, you know, instead of spending it on formulas that the government can help me with, like
Right.
I can put it towards something in my law firm. And
Right.
so, and even then, like, you know, that doesn't cover everything. Like I still, so, you know, that was that. So I ended up just opening up my own firm from home, and I was like, let me just do this. I ended up telling other attorneys like, hey, I'll do like your contract work. So that kind of kept me afloat a little bit while I was getting clients on the side. And so, yeah.
Go ahead.
So, do you do any advocacy for the women that, like, some of the women that you do see? Maybe you haven't been their lawyer personally, right? But maybe they came to you, and do you offer any kind of services to keep them moving? You know how some women get stagnant? I don't think a lot of women, even though I was divorced and I did not have child support, we agreed. You know, he was like, those are my kids. You don't have to put me on no paper for me to do what I'm supposed to do, right? And the only thing I ever asked him to do is go to the barbershop, because I had boys. I never wanted to go to the barbershop because it was all day. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. Please go. And he would pick him up every week. Now, we never argued about money or nothing like that, because I felt like, listen, I got to eat too. You know, my motto was, what are the kids going to eat?
Yeah.
What the kids going to eat? If I don't go out and get it, and they don't see me doing it, then what they gonna do?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because I always think that as women, if you don't move for yourself, right, you got to inspire yourself sometimes.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't have if you don't have a village, right, and it's just you, and you can go to court, you can spin all your wheels in court, crying and all that, but at the end of the day, you know, finding women that can encourage you to move further, or having some advocacy that say, hey, this might have been your circumstances here, but I'm 29 years old, right? I had the opportunity to live with my parents. Maybe you don't, but I don't want that to like stop you from moving forward. I know a lot of women. There's a judge, I know, Judge Kirby. She went to the same law school. She's in family law. She went to the same law school that you went to, right? And she said that she worked and went to law school and had two kids, right? So she was like, hey, it can be done. If you want to do it, you can do it, right? And I don't think, even if it's not going into law, I mean, you can go back to college, because, you know, now you have a lot of corporations that used to pay for college. Nowadays, they don't pay anymore.
Right.
So it was like an opportunity when they were trying to push you to do something, but everybody is so stagnant. Nobody wants to move.
I think that they're just tired. You know, it's like people are just tired, and it is frustrating, because sometimes I try, like, by just posting videos and like motivating them, and like, you know, hey, like, this is what this following is about. This is a platform. This is a community. Like, watch my page, be inspired, be motivated. Like you said, you know, if I can do it, they can do it, kind of thing. But they're like, you know, oh, well, how do you sleep? Or how do you know? It's like, sometimes, like, what is the right answer? You want the honest answer? The honest answer is that I hardly ever. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to put in this, like, you know, 24/7 like hustle mentality, but I'm also like, you wanna ask me like how I got here.
I'm gonna be
This is how I
Right.
got here, you know, and it's so.
I mean,
I think that was just such an aha moment.
Yeah.
What you just spoke on. I really hope that there's someone out there right now. That was a very like even for me, just listening to you, it's real. You went through it, and you said, my kids have to eat. If I can't depend on this man at the moment, whatever didn't work out with us, I'm still a mother. I still have to make this happen.
Yeah.
You know, I think sometimes as women, we are only as, I always say, your children are only as strong as you, right? The man might think he runs the household, but we run it. You know, you're the mom.
Yeah.
Right? You coddle.
Yeah.
You do everything. Right.
You know what they're gonna wear, what they need, with pencils, with school supplies, with everything.
Right. And if he, you know, I was a teenage mom, so my father would always tell me, that is always your baby, no matter what. He could disappear. That is always your baby, no matter what, because child support doesn't take care of everything.
No.
Right. And some people feel, you have some people that say, oh, I'm getting this child support. But it's not that doesn't pay for everything. These kids have sports, they have everything they have. And as a parent, the schools these days don't even teach the kids barely how to read and write in cursive. So not only that, you have to be a parent, you have to do that portion also, but then you have to understand that you're the strong. You got now we have to go in the corner sometime and cry.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, you got to keep moving, right? And her story is very inspiring because she was young, she had a baby, she had the opportunity to go back home. I didn't have the opportunity to go back home. My daddy was like, Gary, my door don't swing back and forth. You can't come back here. But it doesn't mean he wasn't supportive.
Right.
His thing was, if I let you come back.
And probably pushed you to do like
Yeah.
Gianni.
Right.
To
And
go
it
get
just
an
gave a
education.
different,
Right.
same thing, but push it. But with her, I see that most of her followers, they do get inspired, right? They see she's a young woman and she's done so much in a short amount of time. But nobody knows how, maybe in the middle of the night, you got an essay, what is it? The term paper due, right? Or you got to do some kind of dissertation.
And you can't go out with your girlfriend.
You can't even get up. You
can't
go sleeping with
You can't be dating.
the baby here and that's just the way we do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think there's definitely something like psychological about being the default parent as well. Because like a lot of like the frustrations from single moms, it's like we look at our co-parent and we're like, you have one job. You have one job. Like be there, financially support the kid, like just be, we have like all the jobs.
Right.
We
How
have
did
to
the
nurture,
single
we
moms
have
they have to pay 75% really? Because if the man is just, or the one that doesn't have custody, you would think it's 50-50, wouldn't you?
Well, it would be 50-50, like if there was like a 50-50 possession schedule.
Okay.
Which is why you hear a lot of dads saying like, oh, it should be 50-50, but I'm like, okay, but you're not going to be the one like really watching the kid like 50% of the time. Whereas it's interesting because sometimes like they'll be completely like MIA from like this child's life and then they pop back into the picture like once the child is a little bit older and then like once mom files for child support, they'll be like, oh, well, I want 50-50 now. I'm like, where have you been?
Yeah.
Where have you been?
And there's not a bond with the child.
Right.
Like that's, for the child, I don't think that's good.
Yeah, so Texas still has the presumption that there should be like a primary parent and a non-custodial parent, and so they don't presume that 50-50 is in the best interest yet. Like there's other states like Florida that if you live within a certain amount of miles from your co-parent, then they assume, like they presume that 50-50 is in the best interest, but Texas is still not like that.
What do you think about that?
I still think that just from all of the cases that I've seen that I like the way that Texas does it. I don't think that 50-50 is in the best interest unless 50-50 has already been put into practice. So like there's dads that we get 50-50 for them because they are very involved. Like they have been there for the child 50% of the time before a lawsuit is ever filed. They do like a week on, week off with mom kind of thing. Yeah. You ask them like who their teachers are, who their doctors are, like their dad is gonna know the answer to their shoe size. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like there's other parents that they're like, I don't even know my kid's birthday. Give me my kid's
Mine didn't even know the name of the school my children went to, let alone their teacher and shoe size. Let me tell you that.
But I think most men, husband or ex, don't know their own kid's shoe size.
No,
I actually have to ask my husband what the shoe size is because I really don't know. Because he'd be buying all the shoes. I'm like,
okay, Teresa, you're the exception.
That is true though. Like, and we use that term, like we use that example like metaphorically, right? But you're right because like I've seen parents where I'm like, wow, this dad is very involved. Like, don't like scrutinize him because he doesn't know his shoe size. Like he's there, like and so I think every parent has like their strengths and like not each parent has to provide it in the same way, the same thing,
Of course.
And so, but 50-50 can work if you have a good co-parenting dynamic. Otherwise, like you kind of have to assume that these two people are not going to get along. Like if they were going to get along, like they would probably be together still. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that there still needs to be a primary parent that just makes as like the default rule, I guess. So yeah.
So you only practice in Texas?
Only
You're
practice
licensed in Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you have a firm in Dallas and Houston, correct?
Houston, yeah.
Yes. So you primarily Harris County, correct?
Yeah, Harris and surrounding, but I mean Dallas and surrounding as well. We also have a few in like Austin and San Antonio. It would be a huge dream of mine to like eventually open a firm in like LA or California because we have more followers. We have more followers in LA than we do in Dallas. Like we get calls every week from California. Like it's crazy.
Would you have to retake the bar there? How does that work?
I'm kind of like waiting for like some level of reciprocity on like some part of the exam, so I don't have to take a whole exam.
Their exam is so totally different from Texas.
It is, I know. That or I would have to give like I think a portion of my business to an attorney over there, which I'm not
really because you worked your ass off for this.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to give that up.
Yeah, definitely not prepared to do that. So I'm like, if I'm gonna open a firm in California, like it's gotta be mine, 100%. Like,
so. Okay, to kind of switch gears here, adoption, because I know that you do adoption as well.
Yeah.
without giving too much information, of course, what was your most favorite case to date with the adoption? Like, just really hit your soul.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so it's interesting because whenever I first got licensed, like literally the day after my bar card came in, I went to my local CPS, like, judge, you know, because I was just observing his court, whatever, like, little fly in the wall, like, what else am I gonna do? So he was like, hey, by the way, one of our attorneys in town, her license got suspended, so I have 14 CPS cases I need somebody to take. And I was like, yeah, I'll take them, you know? So my first day as an attorney, like, I had 14 cases, basically. And so CPS holds, like, a very, very, like, intimate part of my heart because that's where I started. And that's why I tell people, like, when I'm talking to, like, young law students, they'll be like, how did you know you want to do family law? I'm like, honestly, like, you really don't pick the area of law. Like, God picks the area of law for you. You know, because as much as I try to push away from family law when I first started, I was like, I'm literally like becoming single mom attorney online, you know, and then now like my CPS judge is giving me 14 cases. So I think that those definitely like, you know, I saw like a lot of, there's a specific foster family that I represented. I was the ad litem for 2 of their foster children. And they have taken on,
for those who don't know, guardian ad litem represents the child.
Yeah.
They watch out for the interests of the child.
Yeah, so there's like the guardian ad litem, you're right, and then there's the attorney ad litem, and so like there's a lot of like different pieces moving in a CPS court for sure. But this one mom, like she kept getting pregnant with the same dad, and like they had, so whenever I got into the case, like this foster family already had 4 of their kids, right?
Wow.
She gets pregnant again. So I'm representing, that's the first baby that I represent, right? And so now like
So you're representing the baby?
Yeah, the baby.
Okay, yeah.
And then the foster parents are like, yeah, like, you know, let's take them, and they live in like a really beautiful house like this, like in Fort Worth, like just really beautiful family. And I'm just like, God has to have a special place in heaven for those people because they have not only taken 5, that woman got pregnant again after that. So I represented another one, and they have taken in 6 of her children.
Wow.
And she got pregnant again after that, so there was a 7th.
What?
Yeah, and then
You're the same guy.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Birth
I think
control
so.
exists.
You know what? It's meth. It's like meth.
I was like, she had to be on drugs.
Yeah, it's meth. So it makes you very fertile, apparently, is what I heard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but I was like, now they have taken in 6 of the children, and they couldn't take on the 7th, but they're friends with the foster for the 7th, so they're very close.
Oh, that's nice that the kids can all be.
But it's also like, you guys,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So do you think they plan to adopt the family?
I think that they saw like 4 little girls and were like, let's take on these 4 girls, and I don't know if they were prepared for the
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that they tried for the 7th because then they texted me and were like, hey, and I was like, I'm not even the attorney for that one, like I moved already, but you know, and so it was just like, oh my gosh, this woman will not stop having kids. Like it was like at every termination suit for like one of the kids, she was already pregnant with another one. And I was like, it's so
That could be emotionally straining too.
Wow.
Like even if, you know, being an advocate for the child, it can be emotionally draining.
It definitely is very, very emotionally draining. And then I think my second favorite adoption case was like they hired me for like they both had the same baby daddies, and so they like
Stop! Oh my god, I love it!
2 for 1.
I love
That's a
it!
little sister wife.
he wants to terminate, and they were both married, so we did like step parent adoption.
Oh my gosh,
I
that's
know, like, we just had to
amazing.
serve the same guy with like the same suits. Like I don't know.
Let me ask you this. So under the umbrella of family law, what is your favorite, like adoption, child support, divorce, custody? What is your favorite, and then what's your least favorite?
Okay, so my least favorite is just like the big property disputes because I'm like, I know that it's important. It's definitely important, but then I'm like, I see these mothers like just suffering with like custody disputes, and I'm like, I feel like that hits home more because I can really see myself in those women more, you know, and I think that that's why like a huge portion of our cases like are contentious with respect to custody disputes, and so that's got to be. Maybe I don't know if it's my favorite because that would make me a crazy person to just like go and enjoy doing that every day. But I was like, I think it hits home more, you know. Like, I appreciate doing it. Yeah, for sure.
Do we want to ask anybody in the audience if they have any questions?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
For G? Okay.
Well, let's make sure we're finished with her. Everybody's finished with her?
Yeah,
I can learn so much more about that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, before we
Yeah,
bring
they were
this
good.
up-
I hope I never have to use your
I
services.
tell people that when they meet me, they're like, "Oh, you're a divorce attorney." I'm like, "Yes, I hope you never have to."
Oh,
use
that's
that."
very
Like,
sweet of you.
Like,
yeah.
Because it's not at the end of the day, it's not about the money for you. You're
No.
passionate about what you
Right.
do, and if
Yeah.
you, like you said, I really don't think you should be suing him. You should just
yeah.
try to work it out because that's the best. That's going to be in the best interest of the child.
Would you represent any of your family? Or
You
have
know,
you?
and I've been asked. You know, we got those like. There's always those like crazy
Mhm.
cousins out there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Stop having
Yeah.
kids, bro. Like, I'm not taking those shots." You know?
Sale más
You know
caro.
what you were getting
So here's
into.
my thing about that. I'm like, listen, you're gonna bring this girl home to meet all of us. You want me to be besties with her?
Yeah, of
And
course.
I gotta go sue her?
Yeah,
Like,
no.
Not happening, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Boundaries, girl, boundaries.
Yeah, I was like, no, I can't do that. Like, y'all gotta, no, I'll give you a referral.
Figure it out.
Okay, so on Revelry back there, do you see any questions?
We see Issa's boot.
I know.
Everywhere.
Right up in it.
If you
All
guys
day.
have any
Yeah.
If you have
questions
any questions? Oh, let me
for
see.
single mom attorney, this is an opportunity
This is
for you to do so.
yeah, if you have any questions for her, or if you have any situations that you just kind of need her opinion on.
Or hypotheticals.
Yes,
Yes.
hypothetical.
If you don't,
yes.
or if you're asking for a friend.
One of your followers was like, hey, that's my attorney. I didn't know y'all were doing a podcast together. Like, one of your followers, yeah. That's
I love
sweet.
that.
I know. That's super sweet.
That is sweet. I love
Oh my
that.
gosh.
I just
Oh,
knew
what
when
is
I
wrong
met
with
you.
TikTok mama's shoes?
What's wrong with
Oh,
it?
y'all stop. Oh my gosh.
They
no.
said, what's wrong with TikTok
Friend.
Mama's shoes?
Friend, put your foot in the air.
These my stripper heels.
Are they?
No.
Maybe they don't see the acrylic
They probably
plastic.
think that it's just clear. So
Oh,
they couldn't see
yeah.
Oh.
And probably think you don't have nothing around your ankle.
They're
Oh.
glued to the bottom of her foot.
it. But can we check out Jackie's shoes? Come on.
Oh,
Yes.
Baby Jackie didn't get her
Jackie
her
shoes
toes
cute.
I didn't.
done, but
I need
baby,
a pedicure. I
baby,
need a
they gonna
Stop
swell
the
up in
camera
the
there.
I watched it with
pedicure.
you.
Them's cute,
You're
friend. Friend, you want me to buy them off of you?
Are you kidding me?
What size are they?
Adjustable.
Oh my
You don't
god.
know.
Where'd you get them?
Nordstrom's.
They're cute.
Them what's that boy name?
Kurt Gagnon.
Lisa, can you
David.
read? I
David
can't
somebody.
I'm
see.
looking on Insta.
I find
Okay.
it when I leave
Okay.
here because they still have them in silver.
Check, what's down here? Which one is this on, Issa?
Someone has a crush
This
on
one?
TikTok.
Oh, this
mama.
one.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Everybody got a crush on TikTok.
You're not tall enough to ride this ride.
Oh my.
I need to
Oh
stand
God.
She said,
We did get a question on YouTube asking if anyone would be their sugar mama.
I'm dead.
We looking for sugar daddy.
Hello?
Shit.
Ain't no sugar over here.
Baby, we dry.
This salt and vinegar. This is salt and vinegar.
We're more of a savory, not the sweet.
Yeah, we're more savory.
You don't want all
You know
these
how you
bags.
get a bag of sugar and it's been sitting so long, it's
It's all
hard.
hard.
You gotta drop it on the ground.
And not even that, because they all still clump together.
You don't even must
That's
sweeten your
what we
tea,
work with.
baby.
Oh
You know?
my God. What is this phone on?
This one?
The bottom one.
This was YouTube.
YouTube, okay. And this one is TikTok, okay.
TikTok. I'm gonna go on TikTok and see.
Somebody was like, when I pass the bar exam, I'm gonna be single dad attorney, and please do. Okay, we need more attorneys that are into this like niche marketing like business
Absolutely.
model, and I will commend you for it if you do.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on like pro bono work? Is that something that your firm allows?
Yeah, we do it.
Issa.
And sometimes I get like very passionate about like certain cases, and I'm like, oh, they can't afford to finish paying us.
Oh.
And I'm like, if there's kids involved, like sometimes I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the extent of it. But it all kind of goes back to the conversation that we had about daycare prices, right? I'm like,
Yes.
as much as I want to do pro bono, I'm like, I support like 9 staff members. Like, I was like, we have to
That's a big
charge what we
overhead,
charge.
yeah.
Right.
But what really helps my firm, I think, is that we are mainly virtual, so we don't have like the overhead is the payroll. Like,
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I don't have like all these like offices that I'm having to like maintain and upkeep. So I'm like, while the other attorneys in town are like charging like $400, $450 an hour,
You have to pay for real estate.
we're charging like $300, you know. And so we are able to keep our prices more competitive. And so sometimes I don't like telling clients that, but sometimes I'm like, because sometimes they want to be like, oh, like you don't have an office, like I want to meet you in person. I'm like, okay, then we're just not the law firm for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if you this works the way it works for a reason. Like I can charge you these prices for that reason.
But I would think
Yeah.
Nowadays, women would appreciate that because I
Yeah.
don't have to go get a babysitter.
For
I
sure.
can do it on my time, and you can do it on your time. That just makes
That's
so
like
much
a
more
3
sense.
or 4
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah, because
Oh,
I
for
lived
sure.
in Deer Park, and my attorney was in the Heights, so I had to go all the way to the Heights and like
Yeah.
fight traffic. I would love to have you.
Our firm is like so virtual friendly. Like we have set ourselves up for success when it comes to like the systems and just making people's life like really easy. Even people that aren't like not tech savvy, I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, like go and push like 3 buttons and you'll sign your contract. Like it's that easy these days, you know? But yeah, like I think that, and then also another thing that we do too is we provide kind of like a different like billing structure. So like we still charge per hour, but what we let people do is like pay as their case is progressing. So like somebody that represents a lot of single moms, I'm like, okay, if I know that they can eventually get up to that like $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, sometimes more, like kind of divorce, like child support case, like because if things are getting prolonged, like it's gonna it's gonna cost you more. But it's a lot harder for them to come to the firm with that money already like set to pay. So I'm like, okay, like we require a security deposit and then we require a payment method on file. After that, like just pay weekly, pay as your case is progressing, and they appreciate it. Like,
Yeah, and I can imagine that some moms that get divorced maybe don't have a career,
Yeah.
or not working, and then they want to initiate a divorce.
Yeah.
What money? Sometimes they don't have money.
that's very hard too because I'm like, and I cannot stress enough to like just stay at home moms, you know, like bless their hearts, like if you're married and everything, and like a lot of the times like there's financial abuse going on too, but I'm like, put any kind of money that you can away,
Cash
like
back
something.
at HEB,
Yeah,
honey.
cash back at HEB, exactly.
I'm gonna go grocery shopping. Hold on, let me go ahead and get the debit card.
$812.
No, for real. Like, and I've had people call the firm and they'll be like, hey, like, what does your name come up on the statement? Like, if I pay for a consultation, so I'm like, listen, you can just Zelle, you can cash out, like, what works for you? Because if I'm like, there's that, like, you got a husband, like, looking through every transaction like that. Like, that is crazy to me.
I mean, that's a red flag for sure.
And so that's what, you know, financial abuse is a real thing. And so I tell them, I'm like, just at least save up enough money to where you can at least get to a temporary orders hearing, because then at the temporary orders, we can ask for an interim attorney fees. And so, yeah.
What's the first step for somebody that might be in a position where they just want a consultation? They don't know what they want to do. They haven't made a decision.
Yeah.
What's the best way
I think,
to go about it?
Yeah, I think that so many people have this like misconception that they're like, I'm not gonna get a consultation until I'm like 100% sure that I want a divorce. And I'm like, you do not need to be 100% sure that you want a divorce to like consult with our firm. Like, honestly, it's not my job to tell you get a divorce or don't get a divorce.
Right.
My job is to tell you what it's gonna look like once you know if you do want a divorce. Like, once you know you're ready to take that, you know, what is that gonna look like for you legally, right? So, because sometimes I'll be getting asked these questions like, do you think I should leave my husband? I'm like, man, like I don't even know what your face looks like right now. Like, I don't know, like I've never met you. Like, and even if I did,
I'd be
that's
like, girl,
just
send me
not
a
my
picture.
job.
Let me look.
That's not my job. I've had people hire us for like the same divorce like 4 or 5 times. And they just keep going back. And I'm like, I don't judge them because I'm like, okay, they run back to an abuser. Like, that's very common. And I'm like, listen, we'll be here for you.
Ooh,
Again,
that's
you know,
so
but
tough.
you see a lot of things, like in
Oh, I
family
bet.
law for sure.
It's gotta be frustrating to see something where you know it could have been handled at mediation, and you told your client this can be handled at mediation, but they're just like,
Yeah, and in Harris County, like they will really push mediation on parties for sure. Even just for like a temporary orders hearing, they're like, don't come to court with a dispute unless it's
judge
an
doesn't
emergency
even wanna see
situation.
They don't want to see you
Until
anymore.
you're done
Yeah.
Until you try doing mediation, And then sometimes, like, I hate it whenever they'll be like, oh, okay, well, I have an attorney now, and I'm going to try to go through mediation with them, but if it doesn't work out, I'll hire y'all for trial. I'm like, girl, let us at least try to mediate.
Yeah.
Because I was like, the price just went up. We're not doing that little security deposit after. Like, if you're doing a full-on trial, like, no. And so that's frustrating, but because mediation is
for more questions.
Are you talking about like a trial with a jury, or is that something completely different?
So we don't get many opportunities for jury trials on
yes,
family
judge.
law
Yeah.
cases. Like, we can only have a jury trial for like specific issues. Like, we can't just for whatever reason, right? And one of those being like a geographic restriction. So like, if y'all know, like usually if you get a divorce or like you have a custody dispute with somebody or any kind of like family law case really with kids involved, the judge will order that you have to maintain
so many feet of miles.
Yeah, miles, like from where your baby daddy lives. Like, so it's like you're
It's
restricted to
convenient,
living
yeah.
there. Yeah, to like give him the same opportunity, which is great, like if they're seeing the kid. But then I'm like, if they're not, like, why do you have to be stuck in a county that, you know?
Yeah, that's
So-
that they put that on me because I was gonna move when they were trying to move us to Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, he's like, well, no, she's geographically restricted. She can't get. I'm like, dude, you really? How?
And I really wish like more judges would like see that a lot of these court orders afterwards are used for manipulation.
Mhm.
Like they really are. It's a control tactic that they have on you still because they're like, oh, you may not still be with me, but you are restricted geographically
Oh yeah, he never saw
to
the kids
live
either,
with it.
so-
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it's very frustrating because those are, you know, geographic restrictions are very complicated arguments. So yeah, but they're there. Aw, I love this. Watching from Nigeria. That's crazy. Okay, I want to give y'all the little goodie bags though.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
can we
I
have
like
like
goodie bags.
little merch bags?
Oh, yes. Will you do that? Okay. Can you hold my mic?
Yes,
She'll
I can.
hold your mic. She'll hold it with tender
I'll hold
hands.
it warm. It already is warm.
Hold it tenderly.
I will. I saw like long sentences. I'm not sure if
I already have a pink. I let you black.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Pick a black one.
Oh my gosh.
Miss Ma'am.
So guys, we sell Your Baby Daddy merch.
Yes, put that plug in, girl.
Okay, I do want to ask you
Put the
this.
lens off.
I love this. I want to ask you this. Do you have daddies coming in wanting custody?
Oh yeah.
It's
all
still
the
more
time.
mommies,
I
right?
just referred
Yeah,
someone to
all the
her.
time.
Yeah, that's a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we represent them. Like if
No,
they're
and
this.
she's totally representing right now.
Listen, there's
You're gonna
deadbeat
go home.
moms too.
I love.
There are deadbeat moms.
There are
yes.
deadbeat moms.
Yes. And
Ooh, that's
What
cute.
constitutes a deadbeat mom? That's what I want to know because
What?
This is for you
Oh my gosh.
from the Revelry Podcast.
Yay! You are our first official guest that has an official bag that's embroidered. So we're very proud of that.
I love that.
Yes.
This is comfy.
I'm gonna walk in and kind of be like,
I'm
"Oh,
gonna go
baby
to
daddy."
work. I'm gonna go to work when we go, and everybody's wearing a sweater.
Sue your baby daddy.
Sue your baby
Your
dad.
baby daddy.
Beep, I need a raise. I'm suing my baby daddy.
Thank you. Yes, I know you can ask myself.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I like this.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, listen, if you're not a TikTok mom and you don't have one, like
I
you
know,
did something
right?
wrong. You did something wrong for sure. Because that's how I found her, I think. Like my
Really?
sister, yeah, my sister during
So
the pandemic,
sweet.
she was like, you've got to check out this like lady on TikTok that she goes live with her wine and like she lives in Houston. And that's how I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I love it. Your sister was super sweet.
I can't wait to drink my coffee tomorrow when I'm on my conference call. They're gonna be like, "What you doing, Jacqueline?
This is
Sue my baby daddy."
And
I'm gonna be in front of Ryan.
yeah, I know.
Don't try me.
The married women,
Here's
like
your
they'll
cup.
buy them and I'll be like,
Baby,
listen,
you want
like
some coffee?
if he pisses you off, just the next day don't say anything. Just like wear that and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's all you gotta do. Like
Hell
chill,
yes.
shape up.
It's a
like,
threat. It's a
I
threat.
love it. I love it.
Oh my god.
Hilarious.
Lisa, I think there's a question down here. This one.
No way.
Do you want her to open this? Or
Yeah.
I love TikTok now.
I want to see what we
My
have.
consultation link is in the bio. Somebody's asking how they can get in touch with me. What is this?
Okay,
Is
yeah,
this
let's
soap
drop that
and bath
information for
bombs?
Yes,
sure.
let's
Oh
try.
yeah. Oh my gosh. It smells so good.
Cute.
Ooh.
Nice.
I got wine, I got bath bombs, I got, listen, got
Aw.
some relaxation mode for
How old
sure.
is your little boy?
He's 3.
3.
He just turned 3.
So cute.
Does he understand yet that you are a powerful
Okay.
woman? Does he understand that yet?
So I took him to the office yesterday, and he kept saying attorney, and I was like, maybe he just like hears it now, but he saw like my big like little flyer.
Oh, was
thing.
your mic?
Oh, your mic.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yeah. So I took him to the office yesterday, and he kept saying attorney, and I was like, I don't like. He can't read, so I don't know where he's getting that from. But then I was like telling, I was talking on the phone for something, and I said like baby daddy, and he was like baby daddy. I was like, okay, we're not gonna say that. We're not gonna say that. You can say attorney. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome,
What
friend.
is this? Oh my god, it just keeps going. I was like,
He will. I think he'll grow up. He'll be very proud of you.
Yes.
You know, very proud. And it's amazing. Like, you know, you're an attorney. You're successful. Just to think about what your son will be in the future, and you know, he'll follow in your footsteps. Is that something that you wish for?
I definitely would appreciate if he like eventually ran his own business doing something, just keep the entrepreneurship going in the family, you know. But I want him to do what he loves, and so like right now I'm trying to like financially set him up for that success. Like I don't want him to be, you know, hindered by a certain dream because he thinks it's, you know. So I want him to do what he loves, but I do hope that one day he grows up realizing that like I did everything that I did and I worked as hard as I did for him, because there are some times where I'm like I don't see him for a week, like I'm out, you know, doing things, conferences, appearances kind of thing. But I'm like, damn, that sucks because I'm building this all for him. But I'm like, where is he? And so, but it definitely helps having my sister now watch him, because then we can like travel together and do all the things.
Oh, that's great.
It's helpful for sure. Yeah.
We do have
Go ahead.
We do have some questions. How much weight does a child's decision weigh in court? There's a couple questions asking kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it definitely weighs. It holds some weight. Now, if the child is like 12 or older, they can speak with the judge. But if they're under 12, then usually what we'll do is like we'll try to ask for like an amicus attorney. Even if they're older 12, like they'll still get an amicus usually. But I mean, it's more common for like children under 12. Now, a lot of the times what the courts are looking for, or you know, the judges, I guess, is like if this child is being coached into saying what it is that they're saying. And I think that as parents, like it's not uncommon for like a child to come up and like express a concern to us, and then we repeat it, because that's what we do in conversation, like to acknowledge that I'm listening to you, right? Like, oh, you tell me something, I'm gonna like repeat it and summarize it in my own words kind of thing. And so sometimes parents will do that, and then the child goes back like summarizing something to a judge with like language that's a little bit above their maturity level because they heard a parent. So I always like warn parents about that. I'm like, try to just be an open ear. Like, don't put words that are above their maturity level, because that's what the judges are really looking for. Like, is this child being coached to say what they're saying? And so, yeah.
That's a great question.
That is a good question,
Yeah.
Sorry.
The other one was, what if the child was 16 and over and he wants to live with his dad, but the mom has proof of good reasons why he shouldn't live with his dad?
Wow.
Oh, that's hard.
It's really hard because I'm like, what are the good reasons, right? Like, I've had those cases where I had, I think the kid was like 15 or something. I don't know. The point is that I'm like, eventually this child is going to age out of this court order.
Yep.
And the more you push him or her, like, to be with you, right? Like, I want my kid to want to come home to me, even if they're like 20, 29, 20, you know, like I get homesick, like, but I never had a parent like forcing me to spend time with them kind of thing. And so I think that that's a very sad situation, because I don't want to tell a parent like just give them what they want for the next couple of years so that way they don't hate you and like they still, you know, because then at the same time I'm like, what are the good reasons, right? Like, what's happening over there? And a lot of the times, like, those children just want to go to the other parent's house because they're more lenient, the freedom, they're not, you know. So I hate to see children take advantage of parents that are split up like that.
Yeah.
But it happens.
It does.
It does.
Yeah, it's very tough.
It does.
Do you want to find another one?
No, I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's
I'm
really
happy that they
good.
joined
We can
us.
wrap it up. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. And if you would go follow Single Mom Attorney on all
Yes.
platforms.
Thank you.
Yes.
We are
will.
on, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just making your life easier. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Single Mom Attorney. And if you go on my link tree on any of those platforms, link in bio, it has my consultation link and everything. So
Do you have anything coming up? Like any plans, any special appearances that you're doing that you want to maybe tell everybody about?
Oh gosh, so like we have our little merch line and everything like that. but-
This is
Yeah.
amazing.
It is.
I know. Honestly, I don't know what happened in July, but like it was our busiest month for the store. It was crazy. But what's really selling right now is our custody journals. And so it's called the receipts, because one of the most common things that I would hear in consultations and like from my clients would be, he's inconsistent. Okay, but like, what do you mean by that, right? Because if I go to court and I just say like, oh, he's inconsistent, no, isn't it true that on Thursday, March the whatever, like, you know,
Documentation
document.
importante.
So it's the first ever custody journal written by a
Yay!
single mom, written by
Yay!
and I love it. And it sells like crazy, and it's
What a genius idea.
yeah, and it's really cool seeing like it go all over the country, because you don't have to be in Texas to use it. Like you can use it anywhere. And I've seen like some orders for like men that dads are using them too, and I'm like, I love that.
That's
so, you know.
great.
Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
All your besties.
Yeah, custody
There you go,
journals.
stocking stuffers.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh my my goodness.
Check that out on our store.
That's
Well,
awesome.
make sure you guys check that out and get that mug.
Yeah, see your baby daddy.
Yes. I'll be drinking coffee in it tomorrow.
Right?
I love it.
And make sure you guys do follow us on all platforms, wherever you do get your podcasts. Until next time, peace out.
Thank you for having
Bye,
me.
guys.
Thank you for
Thank you so
coming.
much.
Thank you so much.
Man, you know, for you to be so young, man, listening to, you know, I can tell you're very smart, right?
You.
I can tell that you're on it and your documentation, your everything, you know about and you're passionate about it. I think it's great that you're doing like being mentors or speaking at events for younger people that are in law school right now. Because you do have people that graduate from college, they don't know what they want to do, right? And they feel like, you know, maybe law is out of the question, right? Because of that, but everybody have a different niche, and finding out what your niche is, and that was very inspiring, especially for you to be 29.
Absolutely.
So now I gotta get on my youngest. I'm gonna say, did you see that lady?
Oh no.
Very relatable. Yeah, absolutely.
Aw.
And I think people maybe would, when they see an attorney, they like, oh, you know, I might not be able to articulate what I want to say. I think you can really handle all broads of.
That happens a lot. Like it's sometimes I'll get on the this consultation call and it's like the first 5 minutes are like, oh my gosh, I follow you, and then I was like, thank you, but like let me give you your money's worth. So like I'm gonna start asking you some questions about this case. Like
Let's get to business.
Yeah, and they're like, I don't even know where to start, and so I just like start asking the basic questions I need to know, you know, and then that's when they really open up.
Yeah.
And they really feel like, okay, like she knows me, she gets me, and so.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Because when you're on like an influencer, besides being a lawyer, and I tell her this too, when people see you, they want to tell you how much they love you because they're seeing you on it. But listen, we're doing a business now. So you hired me. So what do you want, love? What is the problem?
I was like, let me provide you with a solution to this problem that you're hiring me for. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was so good.
That was very informative.
Thank you for joining, everybody.
Yes, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We're gonna go make some videos.
Yeah.
A couple of videos.
I love it. It was awesome.
Yes,
That was so good.
It was so good.
So informative. I think it's a lot of people,
Yeah.
even if they're not thinking about suing, I think it's important for women especially to know what their options are.
But that's what crazy.